Welcome to Herbal Expeditions, where we explore all things gardening, herbs, and aromatherapy. Good evening and welcome to all of you out there. I am so happy and excited that you decided to join me tonight. And our topic tonight will be aromatherapy. Last week we talked a lot about herbs, but we didn't really touch on aromatherapy. And I said that we talk all things gardening, herbs, and aromatherapy. So tonight we're going to be talking about essential oils and aromatherapy. And first, I want you to really understand what aromatherapy is. It is an alternative path to healing. It Aromatherapy encourages the body and mind while healing themselves. And they are wonderful plant-based substances that promote health and wellness. And when we use aromatherapy, we are talking about using essential oils. But before we get into all of that, let me give a disclaimer here. I am not a professional licensed medical practitioner. I am considered an essential oil specialist. I am in the process of completing a course of study. And actually, I've really completed my course of study and just need to finish with writing my research paper, and I've been putting that off, and I really need to get to that. And I have started it, so hopefully within the month I'll be finished. But I am not licensed to treat, prescribe, or replace any medical treatment that you may be receiving from your doctor. Remember, before trying any type of herbal or homeopathic remedies, it is best that you check with your own healthcare facilitator or doctor or whoever you're seeing. I just wanted to get those particulars out of the way before we really jumped into tonight's subject. So, essential oils are the essence of plants that are being extracted. So, whenever there's a plant, not all plants have essential oils, but the ones with the volatile oils, the ones that have a really nice smell, most of those contain essential oils. Some examples of those type plants are like lavender. In lavender, you have the flowers that have a really nice scent, but the leaves also have a scent. And so they go through a process called distillation. And when it is distilled, then they're separating and taking the essence of the plant out of the plant so that those essential oils can be used. Not only lavender, but then you look at trees like a frankincense tree. There are essential oils in the frankincense tree, and those are taken from the trunk of a tree. And then there are other plant matter that they might use the seeds. So there are different parts of a plant that are used. But while the oils are still inside the plants, let's talk about some that it does. The essential oils will attract bees and different pollinators to a plant. For example, when I had my holy basil that was growing in my garden, there were always lots and lots of bees around because they were pollinating those plants. Another thing is the essential oils in plants help to repel insects. For example, I'm sure you may have read somewhere before that uh, peppermint oil keeps mice away. And so plants protect themselves by these essential oils. It's just like in the animal world, how animals have ways of protecting themselves. Plants also have ways of protecting themselves. And sometimes it's the volatile oils that are within the plant that keeps predators or things that were going to attack or try to eat the plant. Sometimes the essential oils will keep them away. In other cases, it attracts, like the bees, it attracts the bees. Uh, just a minute ago, I talked about the essential oils that are found in trees. The sap that comes from a tree, that is like the essential oils. And so when a tree is like wounded or like you damage the bark of a tree, the sap will ooze out of the tree, and that is healing the trunk of the tree. That is like when we receive essential oils from tree like a cedar tree or something like that. Those oils are usually very skin protective or helpful for the skin. And essential oils also increase immunity from disease. Now, when Essential oils are extracted and they're taken to a company. Usually, companies will have a third party who will test the oils for purity. And that test is called GCMS testing. And really and truly, whenever I purchase an essential oil, I don't purchase from companies that don't go through a third party for their GCMS testing. And that GCMS stands for Gas Chromatography Mass Spectrometry. And this ensures the quality of the oils and the purity of the oils. And most reputable essential oil companies will have on their website, usually they will put on the bottles the which batches come from, and then you can go back on that company's website and research that particular batch. And when you research those batches, it will tell you the different chemical components that are inside that particular oil or what is high in. For example, I'll go back to my example of talking about lavender. The essential component that is lavender is known for is linalool, and so I might want to know what is the percentage of linalool in this particular batch of essential oils and in this batch of lavender. And when I say is lavender is known for linalool, that is that lavandula angustifolia, because lavender has many different varieties. Just like when I talked about herbs last week, I said you want to identify the Latin name. The same thing with essential oils. Whenever you're looking at a recipe or a blend, like online, there are lots of different blends. You want to know the Latin name to ensure that you're getting the right type of essential oil to support whatever it is that you're trying to support in your health. So, whenever you purchase an essential oil, you want to see what batch, what is the batch number. Then you can go to the company's website and look up what are the components this particular essential oil has. Um, I want to get this right, so I'm going to look at my notes here. It says gas chromatography reports compounds and essential oils into individual components, producing a linear graph that charts these components. And then the mass spectrometry, identifies each of these components and their percentages. So when I was talking about looking at that GCMS report, I'm looking at the mass spectrometry, really identifying each of those components and their percentages, because when I have clients approach me and ask me for a particular essential oil blend, when they tell me what they're dealing with, then I'm going to look for certain components that will remedy or help support whatever ailment that they may be complaining about. And another question that you might have is what are essential oils and where do they come from? Essential oils are basically the aromatic substances found in cells and glands of plants. And that is the plant essence. The essential oils are extracted. So you take that essence from the plants, and these are very highly concentrated. Uh, because sometimes when I look online, I'll see people saying that they can make essential oils at home. I'm not saying that you can't, but many times when I see these videos, people are actually doing what is called an herbal infused oil. And when you have an herbal infused oil, you're taking basically a carrier oil like olive oil or jojoba oil, and you're soaking plant matter and extracting the chemical components from the plant matter into the oil, and then you're going to strain it. That is an infused oil. But an essential oil goes through the process of distillation. And when they go through the process of distillation, is basically they're boiling water, and then when the water boils, the essential or the volatile oils of the plant separates, and then that is extracted and taken out, and then you have what's left, which is the water that has some of the plant matter in it, and that is basically a hydrosol. So you have hydrosols and you have essential oils. But the essential oils can come from the seed of a plant, flowers, leaves, grass, fruit, wood, trunk, resins, roots of a plant. For example, an example of an essential oil that comes from a root is vetiver. Vetiver is a very grounding oil. From the trunk of a plant or the resin of a plant, something an example of that would be like cedar oil. I'm trying to think about with the seeds, fennel seeds, they are very aromatic, or the cardamom seeds, they are very aromatic, and you can get essential oils from those. So those are just some examples of places that essential oils come from, the different parts of the plant. Basically, the way essential oils work, there you can do an inhalation, which means you're going to be breathing, and what happens is when you breathe the compounds of the plant, it stimulates your brain because it goes straight to your limbic system inside your brain. And that basically translates to your central nervous system. And I know that I'm covering a lot. And as we talk about different oils, we'll get into this more, but I just wanted to give you some basic information, general overview. And then other than inhalation, we can also use essential oils topically, and that means putting them on your skin. But the thing about using an essential oil topically is you want to be very careful not to use it neat. And when I say using essential oils neat, meaning you don't want to put those directly on your skin, you want to put them inside a carrier oil as opposed to putting it directly on your skin. There are very few essential oils that are considered safe for putting them directly on your skin. Lavender is one that can be used topically and put directly on your skin. But in my studies and in my experience, I have learned that they actually work better when you put them in a carrier oil. Before I started to formally study essential oils, I thought that the essential oils would become diluted by putting them inside a carrier. But since I have studied them formally and gone through case studies and had more experience, I've learned that they actually work better. They absorb into your skin better and quicker when they're put inside a carrier oil. Some of the benefits of inhalation are the essential oils are absorbed quickly into your bloodstream. Uh, that has a direct effect on an infection with the respiratory system. If you or have like maybe a sinus infection, or if maybe you're congested, it is almost immediate. I remember I usually will have a diffuser going in my office area, and I had a coworker who felt like she was a little bit congested. Her nose was kind of stuffy, and she said within 10 minutes, she was like, wow, that has really made a difference since you turned that on. I don't feel stuffy anymore. Well, typically when it's winter time, and I know that people are having congestions and colds and things of that nature, there are certain essential oils that I will use. One of the essential oils that I would typically put just a little bit of tea tree, because that kind of purifies the air. But then I will use oils that are high in 1,8 cineal, which is the active ingredient in like Vicks Vapor Rub. It's a very common smell that you're used to smelling. So I will put something that is high in 1,8 cineal, which is eucalyptus is a very common oil that is high in 1,8 cineal that I diffuse quite often. And then I'd like to use peppermint, because peppermint has menthol, and you know, menthol kind of opens up your breath and helps you to breathe some. So those are some things that I've had in the blend that particular day when she said that it helped within 10 minutes or so. She was able to breathe more effectively. Let's talk about skin application. When you put essential oils directly on your skin, uh, oftentimes it will help with inflammation. It helps your tissues to heal from injuries. And when you put them topically, usually if you have it in a carrier oil, it allows for slow, continuous absorption. So it's not like you put it and it just evaporates, because an essential oil on its own evaporates pretty quickly. But when you put it inside a carrier, it lasts a little longer and it slowly evaporates into your skin. Um, and then when you have that inside a carrier oil, it's usually more portable, meaning it gets into your skin easier because the molecules are small and it absorbs into your skin more quickly. Then lastly, I want to talk to you guys about dilution for topical use. Usually whenever you're gonna have a blend for essential oils, you want to keep a low dilution, which is usually 1 to 2% dilution. That means 1% dilution would be about 6 drops of essential oil to 1 ounce of carrier oil. And when you're dealing with children ages 5 to 12, you want to be very careful. Under 5, you definitely want to be careful and extremely particular, but usually kids age 5 to 12, women who are pregnant, if it's not a essential oil that is contraindicated, they can usually take about a 1 ounce dilution. So whenever you're using essential oils, you want to use caution with uh, women who are pregnant, children who are under the age of 5, women who are lactating. If someone is on prescription medication, these are all things that you want to run by the doctor if a person is falls in any of those categories, as well as pets and animals. You want to be very careful. I wouldn't put essential oils on my pet willy nilly. That is something that you would want to run by a person who is certified in aromatherapy for animals, because it is different when you're dealing with animals, and so you want to be very careful about that. And the other vulnerable population that I did not mention was those who are epileptic. You never want to use essential oils uh, without the direction of a healthcare professional on a person who has epilepsy. I'm trying to think if there's any other ones that I should be telling you about today. But those are some very general things that I think that the general public or you should know before beginning therapy with essential oils, because those are very extremely important. I have enjoyed being able to share a little bit of knowledge with you tonight. If you have any questions, please drop them in the chat. Contact me with the information that will be on the screen in just a moment. Thank you so much for listening in tonight. I appreciate your time and attention.